Hello. Welcome on back to my channel. I hope you all are doing well. For today's look, I don't know. It's probably a look I've done on my channel before, but it's just so easy. It's a good go-to look for anybody and everybody. It doesn't require a specific occasion or even a reason for doing it. It looks really beautiful, and that's that. So if y'all want to learn how I created this look right here, then keep on watching. So to begin, I'm using the Drunk Elephant B-Hydra Intensive Hydration Serum to prep our model's skin. I apply this on by working a good amount of this product into the palms of my hands, and then I really massage it into the skin. This serum has a pineapple ceramide to boost the skin's luminosity, and it also has provitamin B5, which is a humectant, so it's going to attract hydration to the skin and hold it there. And I'm being sure to bring this product down to the neck and shoulders because I want those areas of the skin to be well hydrated as well. Next, I'm using the Shiseido Synchro-Skin Radiant Lifting Foundation in the shade Amber, and I'm applying this on with a makeup sponge. This shade is really the perfect shade for our model Kyra, and it looks really nice on her skin. You can see the slight bit of hyperpigmentation she has on her cheeks, and this foundation really covers that right up, but it still looks like skin. You know what I'm saying? It still has that sheen and that luminosity that makes it appear really natural. Now, while I do like that glowy look, I found that this foundation is best when it's set with powder. Otherwise, it tends to move around throughout the day and it can look a little too glowy to the point where it almost looks greasy, which to be honest, I don't mind because it's easier for me to bring down the shine of a foundation and mattify it than it is for me to take an extremely dry foundation and make it look hydrated and luminous, you know? And plus, it's much easier to blend concealers out on a well-hydrated base. Speaking of concealers, I'm going to use the Too Faced Born This Way concealer in the shade Cocoa to add some contour and dimension back to the face. I'm using a smaller blush brush to apply this to the perimeter of the forehead, just below the cheekbones and to the sides of the nose. We're not doing any crazy contouring today. This is, again, just to add dimension back to the face. And I'll later be going in with a deeper tone powder to reinforce this. Everyone has more than one tone to their skin in different parts of their face, but especially with deeper skin tones, I find that the perimeter of the face where the sun naturally hits, for example, the forehead, is usually deeper than, let's say, the under eye area. And that's the case today. Kyra's under eye area is naturally lighter than the outskirts of her face. So I'm not necessarily adding in a different tone to change her face shape and to turn her into a completely different person, but rather just to frame the face and support its natural structure. And the concealer I use here in just a second will work hand in hand with that. Alright, now that we have this blended in and looking seamless, I'm going to use this CoverGirl TruBlend Undercover Concealer in the shade Soft Tan to brighten and conceal the under eyes. And you know what I can't talk right now. I don't know what's happening. You know what I did here actually was I added in the slightest amount of the foundation to tone down the brightness of this. I really like the yellow undertone to this concealer, so that's why I chose it, but I didn't want today's under eye highlight to be too bright, or at least not as bright as I usually go, so by mixing in just a smidge of her base foundation, we'll tone it down. I'm applying this to the under eye area before heading to the sponge to blend it up and out, and as you can see, it adds a beautiful highlight to the center of her face. This is a really nice concealer for a I was gonna say this is a really nice concealer for a drugstore brand, but truth be told, this is just a nice concealer across the board, whether it be drugstore or high-end. I forget how much it was. It was, I don't know, maybe $7, $8, $9, but I would spend way more on it. It's on the higher coverage side, it's super blendable, and it's velvety smooth. And to blend it out, you'll notice I bring it up onto the lids as well, just to get some coverage there. Of course, if you want more coverage, oh goodness gracious, I really butchered this nose highlight. It's so off center, but don't worry, it'll blend out. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know why I'm so giggly today. I think I accidentally took an extra dose of my happy meds or something. Oh my goodness. Get it together, Spence. Okay. What I've done here is I've added that same concealer to the center of the forehead, Cupid's bow chin, and kind of down the center of the nose, and I've blended that all in using the same makeup sponge. Next, with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Loose Setting Powder in the shade Deep Peach, I'm going to set the makeup with a large fluffy face brush. I'm using this type of brush because I'm not looking for a heavy application of powder around the face. As I said earlier, I do enjoy the skin-like glow this foundation gives, but I do want to add just enough powder to set the foundation into place so it doesn't move throughout the day. But also you can see it does take away a little of that shine. We don't want our model looking sweaty or oily. We want her looking luminous and fresh. For around the eyes though, I will go in with a powder puff to really press this powder in. This area of the face has the most product on it since we used the concealer here, and it's most prone to crease. So I want to make sure this area is really set into place so it doesn't move. I mean, come on, that under eye looks stunning. And for the other side, I'm going to set it the very same way. Alrighty, as promised, I'm going to use the One Size Turn Up the Base Versatile Foundation Powder to reinforce the areas of the face I had applied the contour earlier. The shade I'm using here is the shade Deep 2G, so it has a golden undertone to it, which is consistent with the rest of the complexion products I use today. What I will say is nice about these powders is that they truly are versatile. You can use them as bronzers, especially if you find yourself struggling with finding a bronzer with the right depth and undertone to it. This powder is really great because the brand came out with over 30 shades of this foundation with several different undertones, so you're bound to find something that works for you. And as you can see here, I'm not using a lot of it. A little goes a long way, and it's a beautiful shade to warm up her skin a bit. Now with this Beauty Bakerie setting powder in the shade Plantain, I'm going to use this to bake underneath the eyes and the jawline. For the eyes, I'm not bringing this powder all the way up to the hairline. I'm keeping most of this product towards the inner corners of the eyes and the sides of the nose, so we can slightly brighten this area with the yellow golden undertone that this powder has, and then we'll wipe it off later once we're done with the eye makeup. Once we have the powder placed, I'm going to start on the brows using this Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz in the shade Ebony to fill in and shape her brows. The key with this is to be slow and steady. Kyra already has beautiful full brows, so I don't want to overdo it here. You'll see me here for the next few moments slowly build up this brow to be softer and more diffused towards the inner part, and then build it up to be a little stronger as I travel towards the outer end. Now that I'm finishing up on this brow, I'm going to complete the other one off camera and then start with the eye makeup. For today's eye makeup, I'm going to do a sultry, neutral toned look, and to do that, I'm beginning with using this brown eyeshadow to buff and blend out on the upper lid. I completely forgot what brown eyeshadow I used here, but honestly, there's nothing revolutionary or unique about it. Just take any deep brown shadow you own and just get in there and start blending it out. Or better yet, if you're working with a powder product to contour and bronze, such as I did earlier with the One Size foundation, you can go ahead and use that as well. That will suffice. But as you see here, I'm not using a whole lot of eyeshadow. I dipped into whichever eyeshadow I was using only once, and I'm using that to blend across the complete lid. It's all about shearing it out and getting a hint of smokiness. And I'm going to take that same eyeshadow and run it along the lower lash line as well. This alone with a little mascara makes for a great go-to daytime look, but if you want to make it a little more dramatic, add some black eyeliner. I'm using this Inglot black gel liner and running it through the lower waterline, and we'll also use it to line the upper lash line before I start smudging it out. Like I said in my intro, I've probably created this look before on my channel, but it's just one of those days where I don't want to get too experimental with colors. I want to stick to what I know looks good on just about anybody and everybody, and a look that's going to complement our model's natural beauty rather than distract for it. And sometimes when there's a lot of different colors involved and glitters going on and winged eyeliner and all that, it can be a little distracting, you know? But I will amp it up here with some lashes. I'm using these Ardell Mega Volume lashes today. Although these can be, a little dramatic for the daytime, it's a fun lash to pop on later in the evening before you head out for dinner or whatnot, because it just amps up the look and makes it even more glam. Now, while I wait for this glue to dry, I'm going to mix these 3 shades from the Norvina Volume 3 eyeshadow palette to create the perfect blush shade. I think you've seen me use this palette for blush in the past. I love how these neon pinks and oranges look on deeper skin tones. It just adds that punch of color to the cheeks that looks so dang beautiful. And once I have that applied, I'm heading back to my powder puff to really press and diffuse that pigment into the skin. Next, I'm going to use the Huda Beauty Glow Obsessions highlighter palette to add some glow and radiance back to the skin by placing this on the cheekbone, brow bone, down the center of the nose, and cupid's bow. And the shade I'm using in this palette is the shade Medium. After this, I'm using the Chestnut lip liner from MAC and lining her lips with this. Now, this is a lip liner that has been such a staple in my makeup kit over the years now. I get a little nervous sometimes because MAC can have their ways of discontinuing really good products, so hopefully that day never comes for this lip liner. I also love the deep nude pencils from KKW Beauty. Those are really good too. But all in all, sometimes all you need to line your lips is the product you use to contour your face with. In this case, you see me here using a lip brush to apply on just the smallest amount of that Too Faced concealer we used earlier to contour with. It's a nifty little trick of mine, and it works like a charm every time because usually your contour has the same undertone and depth needed to create the most perfect lip liner shade. Once we have the lips evenly lined, I'm going to head on over to this Huda Beauty cream lipstick in the shade Empress, focusing this placement in the center of the lip and lightly blending into the liner. I've really come to love this lipstick right here. I used it a couple of weeks back in a tutorial with my friend Angel, and it's one of the few nude shades that truly looks beautiful in all skin tones. And lastly, I'm going to use the MAC Fix Plus spray to set the makeup and to lock it into place, which makes this the final step in how I created this beautiful look on our beautiful model. There we have it, kids. I hope you guys enjoyed today's tutorial. If you did, be sure to give this video a big old thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. You can also check out more of my work on my Instagram at Painted by Spencer. And until next time, I'll see you soon.